Hey guys, it's me, Brittany. I am an African American woman and female. My pronouns are she/her. I'm wearing all black with a silverish, shimmerish, whatever, blazer. And I'm holding my white cane, which I'm going to fold up and set on the floor while I talk to you guys so I can feel free. Okay, so today I called you guys here to talk about living a joyous and prosperous life through inner fortitude and emotional manifestation. So I know what you're thinking. What is inner fortitude? First, inner fortitude is the deep and mental emotional state that one uses to face challenges courageously. So I want to give you guys some examples of inner fortitude. I will share an experience that I encountered when I was 16 and following up with 4 examples of what inner fortitude actually looks like. So when I was 16, I lived on the east side of Long Beach, California. The east side of Long Beach, California is not the safest area. Nonetheless, I went to Polytechnic High School and I was a scholarly violinist. I had been playing the violin since the age of 9, and I was geared up taking courses to go straight to a university out of high school. Although I was scholarly and cared about my education, outside of school, my friends that grew up with me in the neighborhood were not heavily into education. So a lot of my friends outside of school were high school dropouts. So one day I was with my friend. She picked me up from my house. She was 18 years old. She was indeed a high school dropout, and she had a child under the age of 1. We were going to go to our friend's house, and she told me she wanted to go to her house first to pick something up. So we were supposed to be in and out. When we arrived at her house, she parked in her parking spot, and there was her neighbors there having a house party. She was supposed to go inside, come back out, and we should have left. But that did not happen. She went inside, she came back out, and she let multiple people at different times get in the back seat of her car while she was in the driver's seat and I was in the passenger seat. And we stayed there the whole night. After a couple of hours, she allowed one of her male friends and 2 of his male friends to get in the back seat of the car. When they got in the car, suddenly and instantly, I went blind and deaf. Because I couldn't hear, I was trying to figure out why I couldn't see. And I was in no pain, so it didn't register to me what was going on. After a couple of moments, my hearing came back, and I heard gunshots ringing. So I assumed I've been shot, even though I was in no pain. I reached over and called my friend's name, and she was gone. And everyone else in the back seat were gone. So I was left in the car just by myself while gunshots were ringing. There were about 20 gunshots. And throughout this time, since I couldn't see, I didn't know where they were coming from. I didn't know if I should get out the car, if I should stay in the car. So I just stayed where I was. Again, I was in no pain at all, so I decided to touch my face to confirm if I indeed been shot. I touched my face, and my whole left side was gone. I had no face on my left side, and at the top of my head on my left side and on the bottom, it felt like my skin was blown off. And of course, I felt all the warm liquid on my hands and on my legs. As a 16-year-old, in my head, I didn't know what to do. So I put my hand down immediately, and I told myself, Brittany, when people panic in movies, they die. So just stay calm. So I tried to stay as calm as possible. After the gunshot stopped, I called for help. One of the boys that were in the back came back in the car, and he called the police for me. The police took absolutely forever, it felt like. I don't know how long it took. It felt like 10 minutes. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But I was coherent and I was conscious and I never fainted. The ambulance did not come with the police. They came time after, so I felt like this was never going to end. I thought this was the end. So when the ambulance came, they cut my pants off, put me on a stretcher, and when I got into the ambulance truck, I don't remember anything else. Okay, so the next day I woke up and I was fine. I was absolutely fine. I was safe. It was quiet. I didn't know where I was because I couldn't see still, but I was fine. So immediately I touched my face to see where that hole went. And my face was completely back to normal, like nothing ever happened. Yes, I had an eye patch on my left eye, and yes, I was blind, but I was fine. I was so in awe, I couldn't believe it, so I started feeling all around my face for stitches to see if someone put my face back together. There was no stitches, there was nothing. I literally woke up like nothing ever happened. All I could do was smile from ear to ear. That was the happiest day of my life. So I was ready to hit the road running. At this time, I only had 1 month left of school. They froze my grades, and I finished my junior year with 2 A's, 2 B's, and 2 C's. Now, I want to go on to the first example of inner fortitude that I displayed. I told my parents I would like to go back to my same high school. I was assigned a special education, I guess, social worker, and she told me that I need to go to an all-blind school. I told her absolutely not. I'm going back to my same high school. She advised and suggested that I really shouldn't do that. I did not care, and I insisted, so I went back to my same high school. Once I went back to my same high school, they assigned me basically like an assistant who walked around with me and took me wherever I needed to go. I also still wrote on paper, regular notebook paper. The only difference was the blue lines on the notebook paper were raised. Therefore, I could feel the lines. So I wrote just like normal, and even though I couldn't see my writing, I knew what I was writing, and my teachers was able to read my writing because my writing is very legible. So the second example of inner fortitude that I experienced was when I walked into my Spanish class, which was an advanced Spanish class because I was really good at speaking Spanish. Once I walked in with my assistant, the Spanish teacher said, no, get out. So I felt like she was talking to me, so I looked over at my assistant and I said, is she talking to me? And he said, yes. So we both got out. She came out following, walking very fast, click-clacking, down the hall to a different Spanish teacher, talking to her in Spanish very fast. You could tell she's angry. She came back and just disregarded us and said, just sit down. And I said, ma'am, you don't have to be mean to me just because I'm blind. And she said, just sit down because you can't really learn Spanish and be blind. So I was embarrassed because she said in front of the entire class of people that aren't blind. So of course, everyone's looking at me. And after class, I went to my counselor and told him what I was experiencing while I was crying my little heart out. He went to the principal and she then treated me with respect for the rest of the year, whether it was fake or not. And ultimately, I had the best grade in the class. So she ultimately apologized for her actions. Fast forward, I graduated high school with a 4.0 in Student of the Year. And I was accepted into California State University, Dominguez Hills, located in Carson, California, which is a couple of cities over from Long Beach, California. I was told that I could not have an assistant or any help. I had to do everything independently in college. So I had to go to a school for blind people and learn different technology like using the computer with a screen reader and different assistive technology devices. So I then went to a blind school called Junior Blind of America. It's now called Wayfinders. And when I got there, I told the lady, the teacher, who was blind too, I told her what my goals was. I told her I'm going to college in 3 months and I need to learn X, Y, and Z. She said, no, no, no. You cannot go to college in 3 months. This program is 6 months to a year. You can't go until you get the certificate. And it's just impossible for you to learn everything in 3 months. I said, oh no, absolutely not. I've already been accepted. I'm going to college in 3 months. You're going to teach me what I'm supposed to learn. So because I wasn't backing down, she went and got 4 other blind teachers. Now I'm surrounded and they're telling me how I can't go to college at the time that I want to go. I was not backing down, and now I'm on the verge of tears. So their boss, who was a sighted woman, a woman with vision, she came and she told me to go in her office to talk to her. She then proceeded to let me know she will give me the certificate in 3 months if I learn everything and I'm proficient enough to go to college. Ultimately, I learned everything I needed to learn in the 3 months, and it was the hardest thing I've ever did in my life. Fast forward to the last and 4th example of inner fortitude. I had 1 week left before college started, and I had to learn how to get to all of my classes. So I needed mobility training skills. As a blind person getting mobility training skills, you have to learn how to use your white cane and get to different places independently. So my instructor was supposed to teach me how to get to my classes, and I was supposed to practice that route with her 1,000 quadrillion times until I memorized it and can do it by myself. When I told her my experience of not having any mobility skills at all, she said, absolutely not. You cannot go to college in 1 week and you don't even have the simple basic mobility training skills. Nonetheless, I can't teach you how to get to routes because you don't even know how to walk with the cane. And she was the worst out of all experiences. She was very harsh, very mean. She was not backing down, but neither was I. I did not back down. I told her, absolutely not. You're going to do your job, or I'm going to tell my counselor because I'm going to college in 1 week. Ultimately, she taught me how to get to all of my classes that semester and many semesters after, and she was very impressed that I was able to do it in that 1 week. That also was very hard. I then graduated college in 4.5 years at the age of 22. I am now 30. Those 4 examples are examples displaying inner fortitude and how you have to believe in yourself and your own capabilities at all times. No one knows you better than yourself. If I would have listened to any of those people, I would not have the prosperous life that I've endured or accomplished the achievements that I did. Nor would I be the woman I am today. Now I'm going to fast forward to talk to you guys about emotional manifestation. Emotional manifestation is when you deliberately change your attitude or mood in a positive manner to feel better. So, if you're sad, some people like to sit in their sorrow. I mean, we all do, right? Because it's just like you feel sad, you just want to be left alone, you want to be sad, whatever, right? But if you care about being joyful, if you want the mindset of being joyful, when you're sad, you will deliberately do what you need to do to not be sad. And I don't mean go from sad to ecstatic. No. I mean going from sad to less sad. If that is just you saying, you know what, I at least I need to chuckle. Let me turn on stand-up comedy. If you get one chuckle out, you're less sad. That is an emotional manifestation. Therefore, that means you have to find your own coping strategies for your individual self that makes you feel better when you are in a rut, because life brings sour lemons, right? So an example that I do to get over my anger or my sadness, I started playing the drums a few years ago and the piano. And I love the drums and the piano. I always wanted to play these instruments when I could see, but I was very intimidated and I thought I wasn't good enough. So I kept playing the violin even though I hated it. Now I've been playing the drums and the piano and I'm very good at it and it's way funner, so I threw that violin away. And now I play the drums and the piano and I'm currently taking vocal lessons. And if you guys can believe it, I actually can sing. But anyways, I have so much fun expressing myself through music. So when I'm mad, I turn on some rock and roll and I just jam out on that drum. I mean, I probably should have been broken my drum sometimes. And when I'm really sad, I'll make up a song that's on my piano that sounds it probably sounds sad too, but it makes me feel better. So that's what you guys need to do as well. Find something that makes you feel better in your times of need, and also do things that you've always wanted to do and stop making excuses like, oh, I don't have time. Oh, whatever people say. Just do it because you will feel way better. Lastly, I want to say, when you see someone less fortunate than you, or if you see a pack of geese and one of the goose has one foot, it's a one-footed goose, don't feel sorry for the goose. Acknowledge that the goose has a joyful life and is hanging out with the pack. I'm going to close with a short poem I wrote, and then I will be done. This poem is called Love is Free. Love is free. Free like the sun beaming, smiling from ear to ear, understanding freedom is here. From my head to my toes, I live on my own terms that creates an everlasting, long-term, fun love. Love. Love is free. It's free like a bird, like a dove soaring high above, representing the symbol of love. Love. Love is freedom. When I smile because I've been living for a while. Wisdom, proving that I've been learning on my tile that rotates with this world I call freedom. This is why I am free. It's because I love me. Love is free. Thank you, guys.